Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the 4.5 patch notes that are going to be bringing Zendikar Rising to Puzzle Quest. So this is pretty exciting. We're getting a brand new set, so let's go ahead and get into it. With Zendikar Rising, we're going to get 261 new cards, we're getting 14 new Vanguards, we're getting some new full art cards, there are 4 new mechanics, there are 6 new events, and there are 3 new Planeswalkers. The 6 new events are really actually like 2 new events, but we're going to get into that at the bottom of this page. Now, if you do not want the Planeswalkers spoiled, go ahead and skip this video because I'm going to be going and clicking on them and going over what each of them do. So the first of the Planeswalkers is a mono blue Jace. It's going to be Jace Mirror Mage. At level 60, Jace has 101 health. Jace has a +7 mana bonus to blue, and then +3 to white and black. This +7 to blue is super huge. It's the singular highest blue mana bonus in the game. And on top of that, this set has a whole bunch of gem conversion. And Urza is still going to be standard. So we've got so many things in the game that'll be able to convert to blue that I see Jace Mirror Mage being able to rack up a whole bunch of mana. Super, super sweet. Now, as for Jace's abilities, they're very unique and very interesting. So the first ability is Possibility Reflection. The second ability is Embodied Symmetry, and the third ability is Glimpse of Infinitude. Now we're going to take a look at Jace at level 60, and then after we've taken a look at Jace over here, we'll go ahead and click on the Jace tab up top and take a look at the abilities from ranks 1 through 4. So at level 60 at rank 4, Possibility Reflection, you're going to be picking up to 2 of the first 4 cards from target player's library and destroying those 2 cards. And then you can pay the kicker cost. Kicker is one of the new mechanics. In order to pay that kicker 3, you need to have 3 mana stored in your hand, and then you would drain that 3 mana to draw 2 cards. I personally love this ability. So if any of you had the fortune or misfortune, depending on how you see it, to play against or with Jace the Mind Sculptor in Paper Magic, this is kind of Jace the Mind Sculptor's first ability. Basically, you're controlling either your draws or your opponent's draws. So if you don't want your opponent to draw specific cards, you just spam Possibility Reflection and make sure that they don't draw the cards that you don't want them to have. You don't want them to have removal because you have a very strong board position, get rid of it all. You don't want them to draw something like Song of Creation or some other bomb card, get rid of it. Possibility Reflection is one of the strongest looking first abilities in the game to me. It looks really, really good. And on top of that, it's only 4 loyalty, which is a huge bonus because that means you're going to be able to spam the heck out of it, especially with all of the aforementioned gem conversion. The second ability, Embodied Symmetry, you're going to create an Embodied Symmetry token. That token is going to be a blue support with 3 shields, and it's going to have Wizardry. So Wizardry is another new mechanic, and that is going to activate kind of like Prowess, but anytime you cast a wizard or a spell. So Wizardry, anytime you cast a wizard or a spell, each card in your hand that is a copy gains 3 mana. And when you drain mana from your hand, you may destroy the top 2 cards of target player's library. Each of these effects can trigger up to 3 times per turn. So the draining 3 mana is going to relate to Kicker, as that's going to be in the set, and the copy is going to be in part for the Jace Mirror Mage token that it's going to make, and then there's just a whole bunch of things that make copies in the set, so you're going to have a whole bunch of extra mana to those cards that make copies. Jace Mirror Mage is going to be the second part of Embodied Symmetry, so you create that Embodied Symmetry, and then you create a copy of Jace Mirror Mage in your hand. Then you copy the first non-copy card in your hand, then each card in your hand that is a copy gains 3 mana. So the Jace Mirror Mage copy that you get to your hand is going to actually get the 3 mana. Jace Mirror Mage is a rare Vanguard. It's one of the new Vanguards in the set. So it's kind of interesting to see a Planeswalker that actually plays a Vanguard that is a card from the set. Jace Mirror Mage is a Vanguard with 3 shields. It has Kicker, and it has a passive ability that it cannot be reinforced, which means that every copy of Jace Mirror Mage you play is going to be a new Jace Mirror Mage Vanguard on the battlefield. It has Kicker 7, so when you cast it, you can drain 7 mana from your hand. If you do, you create a copy of Jace Mirror Mage on the battlefield under your control, meaning that instead of getting 1 Jace Mirror Mage, you're going to get 2 Jace Mirror Mages. Jace Mirror Mage's first ability is to pick one of the first 2 cards from your library and fetch that card. That is a particularly useful ability here, in part because of Jace Mirror Mage's third ability, or I should say, I think it's second ability. And then also this particular Jace's third ability. So you pick one, you put it in your hand, but the other card stays on top of your library. Now it has a neutral, which is going to be +0, so you can use it whenever you want, to draw a card. If that card is not a Vanguard, it gains full mana. That card is disabled until the beginning of your next turn. This effect cannot give mana to stored mana, mana to stored mana, and then this support loses X shields, where X is that card's base mana cost. So because this thing's not going to have all that many shields, it basically means you can use that 0 ability to draw a card, give it full mana, and destroy the Vanguard, which is still a pretty darn good ability, especially when you factor in the fact that you could get a whole bunch of them by kicking and getting copies of it. This is made even better by the +2 ability, right? Or sorry, the +1 ability to pick one of the first 2 cards from your library. Because then you could play one of the Jace Mirror Mages and use the +1 ability to pick one of the first 2 cards, and then the other Jace Mirror Mage to draw the other card and give it full mana. So you can kind of choose, oh, you know, I want to be able to draw this one with full mana, which is pretty cool. It's actually how the card kind of works in paper, so they got that one pretty good. Then the final ability is Glimpse of Infinitude. So create a copy. Before I go into what the ability does, I want to highlight that it costs 3 loyalty, whereas you got 4, 12, and then 3. Jace here, Mirror Mage, is the first Planeswalker that we have access to, please correct me if I'm wrong, that has a descending loyalty cost in its loyalty, right? 4 to 12, that's ascending, and then 3, that's descending. There's Liliana 1 who has an equal loyalty, but I don't think there's one that it goes back down again. Glimpse of Infinitude is going to create a copy in your hand of the top card in your library. Then, if that card is a mono blue card, it gains full mana, and you lose X loyalty. X is that card's base mana cost. If you don't have enough loyalty, you lose X times 2 life. And this effect, it's missing the bottom bit, but this effect cannot affect cards. It doesn't give mana to stored mana. So it's going to give full mana to a card, but it's not going to give stored mana if the card has stored mana. Now, the way that this ability should work is you use the ability, you use up your 3 loyalty, and then you lose X loyalty. So you're going to need to have the 3 loyalty, and you're going to need to have enough loyalty that the card's mana cost is. However, if you don't, that's not a really big deal. You're just going to lose life equal to the card's mana cost times 2, which really shouldn't be too big of a deal because we've got things like Shadow Spear and Staggering Insight to give lifelink to blue. So we've got ways of gaining life back, and I don't see it being a big problem unless you're trying to play Jace Mirror Mage on an objective where you're not supposed to lose life. So just don't do that, right? Pretty simple. But yeah, so the 3 abilities are pretty unique. They're definitely super cool. As you can see, they're going to change a little bit as you level Jace up. So the Possibility Reflection is going to pick one of the first 2, then one of the first 3, then 2 of the first 4 as you level it up. It's probably going to be level 6, I want to say, or so is going to be for level 1. You'll have all 3 of your abilities at level 30 at level 2, all 3 of your abilities at level 46 at level 3, and all 3 of your abilities at level 60 at level 4. So the kicker 3 stays the same, and it's going to be draw a card, draw a card, draw a card, and then at rank 4 it's going to be draw 2 cards. The Embodied Symmetry is going to make the Embodied Symmetry token for all 4 ranks. Rank 3 is where you're going to start getting the Jace Mirror Mage token. And then over here, this Glimpse of Infinitude, the actual loyalty cost is going to go down, which means that you're going to be less likely to lose life as you level Jace up, which is kind of an interesting design choice because at lower levels, your Planeswalker is going to have less health. And so having this loyalty ability make it so that it takes away more of your health at a lower level just means that this Jace probably will not be as good at a lower level. The next Planeswalker is going to be Nahiri, Heir of the Ancients. I know that Heir is actually pronounced Heir, but whatever. By the way, my thoughts on Jace Mirror Mage is I think it will be a top Planeswalker. I think it'll be a very high tier Planeswalker, at least in A tier. But I need to try it out and see for myself. I have not tried any of these out, just like you guys, right? So Nahiri, Heir of the Ancients, is a new red-white Planeswalker. It's going to be Nahiri 2. Nahiri's got 122 health at level 60. Her mana gains are going to be +4/4 to her colors, +2 to black, and -1/-1 to green and blue. This follows the same general mana bonus as the M21 monocolor walkers, except instead of being +4/4/3, it's +4/4/2. And for having the slightly lesser mana gains, it's going to be a dual color walker, so you can use more colors in your deck. Her 3 abilities are Skyclave Army, Core Lithomancy, and Blade of the Ancients. Skyclave Army is going to create 4 core ally tokens. Those ally tokens are also soldiers and warriors, which is a big deal because we have a soldier leader and a warrior leader in this set. And I want to say that they're both 3/3s. One might be a 2/2 and the other's a 3/3, but I think they're both 3/3s. Which means that if you've got that down, then when you use this Skyclave Army, you're going to be reinforcing it 4 times, which is going to give it +12/+12, which is pretty cool for a first ability. This, on top of that, right, because you get the Soldier Warrior, that's going to help get you to Party, right? So Party here is a new mechanic in the set. Also, Party is going to be a mechanic that requires you to have a Cleric, a Vampire, a Warrior, and a Rogue on the battlefield. So this here gives you the warrior. You just need to get the other 3 kinds. Now, you're also going to create a utility knife token. That's going to be an equipment that gives your first creature +1/+1. And whenever you landfall, which is matching 4 or more gems, your first creature is going to get +1/+1 again. Then after making those ally tokens and getting the utility knife equipment, then each member of your party is going to get +1/+1 or gain 1 shield. Remember, party are going to be those warriors, vampires, clerics, or rogues. So any of those that you have are going to get +1/+1. And if you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, Balthazar, you just named 4 creature types and we only have 3 creature slots. Well, there are going to be supports with those creature subtypes on them. And so that's why this also says or gains 1 shield. So if you have one of these supports that counts as a member of the party, then that support will gain shields. The second ability, Core Lithomancy, is going to fetch the first warrior creature and the first equipment support from your library. Those cards gain half their mana, then that warrior gains bravery and first strike, and that equipment gains resilient. This ability seems a little bit subpar to me. Getting a warrior, like the creature fetch, is really cool, but it's only a warrior. And then getting the equipment is definitely super cool because you could use that to fetch something like Embercleave, give it half its mana, and then as your creatures attack, they're going to be giving it mana. But it's just the first and the third ability seem so much better than the second ability that I don't really see myself using it very much. The third ability is Blade of the Ancients. You're going to create a Blade of the Ancients token. Then if you have a full party, meaning you have a cleric, rogue, vampire, and warrior on the battlefield, destroy each non-support gem. This could lead to a bunch of cascades, and it can trigger all of your activate gems. So a bunch of cool stuff can happen by getting that second part. But in spite that second part, the first part is actually really, really good. So Blade of the Ancients is a support emblem with 4 shields. It's an equipment, and it has resilience. So when it gets matched, it does not lose shields. And then this support reads, at the beginning of combat on your turn, reinforce your first creature X times until end of turn. X is the number of other creatures and other creature reinforcements you control. This is a super nifty ability because this ability does not discriminate against tokens. We have a whole bunch of things in the set that are going to make tokens. We have Skyclave Army as the first ability that's going to make tokens. And so that first creature of yours is going to get reinforced equal to the number of other creature and creature reinforcements you control, meaning that you are going to be able to reinforce your first creature a whole bunch of times. And if you are running some of those cards that say you get some buff based on creature reinforcements, like the new Morag Minotaur dude, or something that gets some buff for you losing reinforcements, this is just going to fit into that even better. I really like the look of this ability very, very much. And that's not the end of it. It also has, when your first creature attacks, deal Y damage to any opposing target. Y is the number of equipment supports and equipment support reinforcements you control. Now, this ability itself counts as an equipment, so it's guaranteed going to be 1. But then you're probably going to be playing other equipment in your deck if you're using this Nahiri. If you have it, probably Embercleave. There are a lot of new equipment cards in the set, so probably some of those. And if you've used your first ability, you're going to get yet another equipment from Utility Knife also. So there's a lot of synergy between Blade of the Ancients and Skyclave Army. I absolutely love those two abilities. I see this Nahiri being a good Planeswalker. I'm going to have to playtest her to determine if she's good or great, but she definitely looks really cool to me, and I'm excited to play her. For her level up abilities, right, the rank 1, with the tokens, you're creating 2, 3, 3, 4. You get the Utility Knife at rank 3, which is the equipment. For the Lithomancy, you're going to fetch the Warrior and the first equipment in both. It's just the amount of mana that you gain, and then the whole Bravery, First Strike, and Resilient. You're going to get that Blade of the Ancients token at rank 1, but then you're going to go ahead and, with the full party, get the Destroying Blocks of Gems and also destroying each non-gem support. So it's just really going to be destroying more stuff. That's really about it. I would imagine that the Blade of the Ancients will change a little bit with the different ranks. Yeah, nope, it does just a very, very little bit. So it doesn't change too much with leveling. It's going to be powerful no matter what. The third and final Planeswalker is the one that I was looking forward to most from Paper Magic, and she absolutely does not disappoint me at all. Nissa has a dark side to her. Nissa Worldwaker is kind of my favorite Planeswalker, so I love Nissa, and we've got a new Nissa. New Nissa is going to be green-black. She now has black, which means, well, we can use black cards, which is super sweet, because if you haven't seen my video about the standard shift, the biggest hardship that green is going to face now is that green doesn't have any reliable removal anymore. And so black, with this absolute abundance of removal, is going to allow us to play Nissa and have access to crazy removal. Nissa's 3 abilities are Shadowed Bow, Bitter Connection, and Reclaimed Zendikar. Her mana gains are going to be the same as Nahiri's, but for her own colors instead of Nahiri's colors, with a 4/4/2 -1/1. Shadowed Bow is going to create a Shadow Bow enchantment token or support token, then convert 2 gems to green and 2 gems to black. That Shadowed Bow token is going to have landfall green, landfall black. For landfall green, you gain 3 loyalty, and then all of your land supports gain 1 shield. Landfall black, your opponent loses 3 life. Each of these effects can trigger up to 2 times per turn. The Shadowed Bow token is sort of meh. I mean, I do like the landfall green gaining 3 loyalty. That's definitely pretty cool, because there's going to be a whole bunch of ways to convert gems to green, which means that you could get a bonus 6 loyalty per turn for it, activating twice pretty easily, which is definitely solid. The second ability, Bitter Connection, is going to create a Hissing Quagmire token. Then, if you control 2 or less creatures, create 4 swamp tokens. Otherwise, draw 2 cards. So the Hissing Quagmire token is going to be an emblem land, so it's going to count as a land. And at the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to black and 2 gems to green. It's also going to have an Activate gem. So you activate 1 gem, it's a 2-turn gem, meaning that if you do not match the gem or your opponent doesn't match the gem within 2 turns, it's going to activate and destroy itself and give your first creature +2/+2 Death Touch and Menace until the beginning of your next turn. Now, I really like that both the first ability and the second ability are going to be able to convert gems to green and black, and then there's an extra support that is going to get things off of green and black landfalls. I also like that if you control 3 creatures, you're going to be able to draw cards with that second ability. So you got a green-black Planeswalker that's going to be able to draw you 2 cards, kind of like how Garruk does. Unfortunately, you're not always going to be able to draw those cards. Sometimes it's going to give you these swamp tokens, which are just 1/1 haste tokens, but, that's not the worst thing in the world. And finally, the third ability is Reclaimed Zendikar. I'm honestly going to just go ahead and throw it out there. I'd be really surprised if Reclaimed Zendikar comes into the game as it currently reads. So you create a Reclaimed Zendikar token. Then each creature card in your hand gains X mana, and each land card gains Y mana. X is the number of black gems, Y is the number of green gems. So you activate the ability, even if you ignore the Reclaimed Zendikar token, you're going to give a whole bunch of things in your hand a whole ton of mana, which is super, super sweet. You're going to be able to play a whole bunch of stuff. And then you get the actual support token itself, which is bonkers ridiculous. So it reads, When you cast a creature, return the first creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That creature gets +X and Berserker, and gains X mana, where X is the number of black gems. It also has, when a creature you control dies, the first creature in your hand gains +Y while it's in your hand. That buff is going to be permanent. Gains Reach, which is going to be permanent, and gains Y mana. Y is the number of green gems. So the reason why I would be really surprised if this ability makes it into the game as it currently reads is because if you are using black gem conversion, and there is a whole bunch of black gem conversion because of just mono black converters from both Eldraine and then now in Zendikar and the whole land forming, making even more supports that are probably going to convert black gems, you'll be able to make a deck using Otrimi. I know it's a masterpiece, but hear me out. With Otrimi, where you mutate Otrimi onto one of your creatures, and then as soon as Otrimi mutates and you've got your third ability down, that's going to dump 3 creatures into your graveyard, at which point you've cast a creature, so you're going to return the first creature from your graveyard to your hand and give that creature +X and X mana, where X is the number of black gems. Which means that if your whole deck consists of creatures that have a mana cost equal to or less than the number of black gems on the board when you mutate with Otrimi or cast any creature, you are now going to infinitely dump creatures out of your deck into your graveyard, return them to your hand, and replay them. This is an infinite combo with a card and a Planeswalker. I can't think of really very many situations apart from Jaya where we've had infinite combos with our Planeswalkers. This is definitely one of them. The downside to this, or I should say actually it's an upside, right, is I really don't see Greg being able to do this. I don't honestly see Greg playing Otrimi and mutating it and making sure that they've got the black gems. I don't see it happening. But that's also because I don't see Greg mutating all too often. They just play the critters as creatures. So as long as you're playing reasonable removal, they're not going to start mutating. But nonetheless, as a player, this just screamed infinite combo immediately, which is definitely really cool, and I hope that they don't change the ability and make it so that it only is like, oh, this can only trigger 3 times a turn or something, but I kind of see that as being a little bit more fair, especially because with this boost that you're getting based on the number of gems in the first place, you're going to be getting huge creatures. Nissa of Shadowed Boughs definitely looks super cool to me. As you're going to level her up, she's going to start by converting gems to just green. Honestly, I kind of wish that I would just stay that way, even though I've already said that I'd rather have more black gems at the end game, but converting to just one color is, I think, generally preferable. The Hissing Quagmire token is going to change just a little bit, and then you're going to add card draw and more swamp tokens, and then the Reclaim Zendikar token is going to come out regardless, but then you're also going to get the bonus of getting more mana to creatures and lands in your hand based on gems. So this Nissa looks really good. Honestly, all 3 of the Planeswalkers in this set scream really, really good to me. Like they stand out as really good seeming Planeswalkers. I'm really excited to play all 3 of them. I can't remember the last set that came out where I wanted every single Planeswalker. So actually, I can. I wanted all the War of the Spark ones when they came out, but then when I saw them in action, I didn't wind up getting them all. But this one, I think that they're all going to be good and worth having. So we've got a few new mechanics. This jumps us to the next segment of our video. I've already gone over a few of them. I've gone over Equip, I've gone over Party, I've gone over Wizardry, I've gone over Kicker. I haven't gone over Landforming, but nonetheless, I'm still going to go over all of them here. So they've all got their new icons. Equip here is going to have this icon along with a little number in this like darker black section, and that number is going to represent whenever a creature you control attacks, this equipment is going to gain mana, and it's going to gain mana equal to the number that's in this little black thing right here. So you can see a card on the screen right now, and so you'll see that there's that little number in there, and that number represents how much mana that card is going to gain when your creature attacks. This is something that's already on Embercleave, so it's not a totally new mechanic to the game. The next ability is Landforming. Landforming is kind of strange. So the card is going to have an additional effect if you cast it after making a horizontal match with a swap. So because it specifies with a swap, you have to actually make the swap yourself. It can't be from a cascade or something. And it's going to have to be horizontal, right? Which means like a flat line going across your screen, not up and down. If you do that, you're going to get the Landforming ability. And if they follow paper magic, that Landforming is going to create a land that is going to convert gems to the color of the card. So I'm guessing that we'll see land-forming cards at the common range convert like 1 gem, maybe 2. Then the rare range make 2 gems maybe, and at the mythic range maybe make 3 gems. I'm just guessing here. I'm spitballing because we don't know what they look like. But it definitely means that we're going to have a whole bunch of gem conversion at our disposal from cards that aren't supports. Koth, by the way, is making out like a bandit from this set, like an absolute bandit. Party I've gone over a little bit, right? So party is going to be if you have a cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard on the battlefield. Wait a minute, did I say cleric, rogue, warrior, and vampire? Oh, I said vampire earlier. It's wizard. Shame on you, Nelthazar. I said vampire like 2 or 3 times. Oh well, it's wizard. It's just because I kept thinking of there's a new vampire that's kind of like Vampire Nighthawk, and like just that card just keeps popping into my memory whenever I think of it. So yeah, but yeah, it's going to be cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard, not vampire. Shame on you. So you're going to have a full party if you have all 4 of these subtypes on the board. They are creatures, but they also are going to exist on supports. So you're going to have cards that get bonuses based on the number of cards in your party. But if you need to have a full party, which you will for some objectives and events that we're going to go over, you need to have all 4 down at the same time. The second ability is Wizardry. We went over this one. This is going to be the mechanic for Wizardry with the wings and the sword and the arrow and the magic-y staff thing. But basically, it's prowess, except that it's also going to trigger when you cast a wizard, not just when you cast a spell. It says they've reworked mechanics, so basically kicker is going to look like this. There's going to be a number in this little dark black section, and that number represents how much mana you need to drain from your hand. So when you play a card with kicker, you charge up the mana for the card, you play the card, and then you're going to get a prompt, and that prompt is going to say, do you want to kick this card or not? You're going to be able to kick it if you have enough other stored mana in your hand. It's not just going to store more mana on that card. You're going to need to drain mana from another card in your hand. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of like stored mana, but you're storing the mana on other cards in your hand, not on this card. There are a few card changes, which, actually, it's not showing it here, but leader, the mechanic leader actually got a little thing that appears on the card. It's like a little fist that's being held up. And so that's going to signify that there are leaders. So that's another change, but I don't see it right there. Now, as for some changes to cards, okay, so they're changing a few cards here in the game. So they're going to add kicker to a few cards. They're adding it to Call the Coppercoats, Desperate Stand, Silence the Believers, and Twin Flame. Then we're also going to have some changes to some spells. So Cathartic Reunion is getting changed just a little bit. So it's changed from you discard 2 and draw 3 to discard 2, then draw 3. That they mean the same thing, but I guess it's just to clarify it, they say. So, okay. The creature card, Prowling Serpopard. That's interesting. Serpopard has gained Enrage to gain 2 life. The behavior didn't change, just the description was missing. Okay, cool. No, so they just added that. All right. Nice. Then we've got the support card, Song of Creation. If you don't know what Song of Creation is, then I'd be kind of surprised at this point, just because it's so incredibly relevant. Or you're a newer player and don't worry about it. You'll know it soon enough. So Song of Creation is one of the primary cards that drives the meta right now, especially in Platinum. And so Song of Creation is getting a bit of a nerf in this set. It's actually getting a nerf in a number of ways. They're nerfing how the card itself works, and then they've added a whole bunch of counters in the actual set to Song of Creation, which I will go over in a subsequent video about my chase cards for the set. All right, so support card Song of Creation does only trigger its effects on itself after having been cast before already, which means that it does not trigger its effect when it's cast for the first time. So currently, if you cast Song of Creation from your hand, you're going to immediately trigger the card draw and then gain mana from the Resourceful on Song of Creation. So currently, you play it for its 8 mana, and then you immediately draw cards and gain mana. What this is saying is that now, when you play Song of Creation, if you don't already have Song of Creation on the battlefield, you are not going to draw those cards and gain that mana from the Resourceful, because you're not drawing the cards to gain the mana as Resourceful. However, any subsequent Song of Creation that you play while Song of Creation is already on the battlefield, so basically if you cast subsequent copies and reinforce it, those will trigger off of the Song of Creation. What this means for Song of Creation is just that you won't be able to get your Song of Creation combo started as easily. You'll actually have to put a little bit more thought into how you're going to play the card. Instead of just playing it and then it starting itself, you're going to have to play it and something else to get it started. And then even then, when you play that something else to get it started, you're going to have to rely on draw, and it's still going to make you discard your hand at the end of the turn. I feel like what this is going to do for Song of Creation is it's going to make it less of just you throw it into pretty much any deck and it makes it better, and it's going to make it so that you have to be a little bit more specific about which decks you throw it into. That being said, the best Song of Creation decks right now are green gem conversion decks, and that is not going to change at all by and large, just because the green gem conversion cards cost very little mana. They convert a heck of a lot of gems to green. They're going to get themselves started super easily, so this is pretty bonkers. But nonetheless, I think it's a really good change to the card. They're also changing Malefic Scythe, and they're just doing it so that they can avoid loops. There was an infinite loop with Alayla, so basically this change was done so that you wouldn't get infinite Malefic Scythe loops. The Core Ally token now has 2 additional subtypes. So we used to have Core Ally tokens that were just Core Allies. Now they're going to be Core Ally, Warrior, Soldier. This is a huge buff because it means that they're going to be tokens that have gained Warrior and Soldier, which means that Soldier leaders are now going to be able to eat up our Core Ally tokens, and it means that Warrior leaders are going to be able to eat them up too. Yum. The support card, Ritual of the Returned, has its description and behavior changed from when a creature card enters your graveyard from anywhere, return it to the battlefield under your control. It gains the zombie subtype, then exile the support. 2, when a non-token creature enters your graveyard from anywhere, return it to the battlefield under your control. It gains the zombie subtype, then exile the support. Basically, it's going to make it so you don't get any wacky interactions with tokens. It's only going to bring back non-tokens, which is good. There are a few other changes. Legacy and Standard is going to change, so I've already made a video about the shift, but basically, new Standard is now going to be Origins, Eldraine, Theros Beyond Death with the Daxos versus Calamity. For those of you wondering, because I have gotten a lot of questions about this, Daxos versus Calamity is going to be saying Standard as long as Theros Beyond Death is. Think of them as one set together. Then we've got Ikoria, M21, and Zendikar. Ravnica at War, all the versions of it, so all 5 colors, are going to have the same deck restrictions that they currently have. It's going to become a block restriction event, so it's just going to stay as Origins, Ravnica, War, M20 and M21, so you'll just keep being able to use just those. Ideally, because that means this is becoming a legacy event, I'm really hoping that means that we see this like almost never, because this event is awful, but yeah. I've given my opinions on Ravnica at War before. I love the game, I love most of the events, but this is just, I'm so glad this thing's rotating out. All right, Tezzeret the Seeker. The first ability has changed. This is Tezzeret number 1. So the first ability is going to now target Vanguard supports now too. So so Vanguard supports are also going to get improved shields from that first ability, which is going to give them loyalty effectively. And then we've got Sarkhan Fireblood. This is the mono red Sarkhan. And so his second ability, it's got a very, very small adjustment, which is that when you use it, it activates and it increases your red mana bonus by 2 for 3 turns. But now it's going to be your red mana bonus is increased by 2 for 3 of your turns. So before you got it for 2 of your turns because it was your turn, your opponent's turn, your turn. Now it's going to be your turn, your turn, your turn. It's going to be during your opponent's turns too, but nonetheless, it's going to be 2, 3 turns. Or actually, maybe it's just your own turn by that language. I don't know. Oh, okay, so here's the little fist I was talking about earlier. They just put it a little bit lower. So yeah, leader has got a new little icon here, right? So this is now what leader is going to look like. If a card has leader, it's going to have this like fist on it. Cool. Card filter is going to have a scroll now, so you can scroll to see the number of sets. I saw that a lot of you guys posted about having just like a standard button, which I would definitely really like to see, like standard versus legacy. Just put it up there with like card set, like standard on the right and legacy on the left, or standard on the left and legacy on the right or something. And then I know that like this needed to happen, this whole card set thing, just because there are now more sets than they could have fit in that little box. The only thing that I wish they had added is maybe that Origins wasn't going to be hidden if you're looking at the other things, so you have to scroll to see Origins. Like, instead of having Origins first on the card set list, maybe have Origins last, just because Origins is always going to be standard. So since Origins is always going to be standard, just have it last so that we always can see it on this little list or something. I don't know. Just my thoughts. The game has a new home screen. We saw that in the inbox before, but this is now what the new home screen is going to look like. You're going to still have to collect your daily rewards. It's going to appear over here. You click on the little eye and it's going to show you the monthly rewards. The vault is going to be right here. You're going to have your little character and your level. You're going to have a little thing for your inbox up there. You're still going to see all of your resources up top. You're still going to have these little 3 lines that take you to the main menu. And then you've got Vault, Story, and Events. So you're going to be able to quick jump into Story from this. You're going to quick jump into Events. And you're going to quick jump to the Vault. So I think that the new UI looks pretty nice. I like it. So we'll have to see how long it takes me to get used to it. But I definitely do like that. So, all right. Bug fixes. We've got a whole bunch of bug fixes. We like bug fixes. Bug fixes are good. Bug fixes are very good. So the Adamant and Identity objectives will now consider any type of gen match towards the objective. So swap, cascade, and conversion. This was in, I think the event is called a Timeless Voyage or something. It's the new one that came with M21. But the top node, I want to say it was, you had to make gem matches, or you had to match gems based on your Planeswalker colors. Now you can get it from cascades and stuff or conversion, which is going to make that super easy to complete, which means that, let's face it, we're probably going to see a world of Song of Creation decks on that node with green gem conversion and Nissa World Waker, because that's going to convert all the gems in the world to what you need it to be. They fixed an issue where Song of Creation was not drawing cards on Vanguard casts, which is, like a little small quality of life thing, but is nice. Fixed an issue where Dream Eater was not returning itself when played by the AI. Okay, cool. Fixed an issue with Cavalier of Night where instead of just destroying the first creature, it destroyed itself, which was kind of amusing. I had that happen against me a number of times, but that's definitely good that that got changed. Fixed an issue with Days Undoing, which I actually very much like because this card is now like a must-have with Finale of Eternity going out. Fixed an issue with the full art Thassa that was not actually causing the creature to be exiled and stuff. The players weren't able to select their target, which is huge because Thassa Deep Dwelling is one of the best cards in Standard, like easily, hands down, one of the best cards. And so if you haven't pulled it from a pack and you had to pull it from the Fibblethip, you weren't able to get it to work, and that was probably really frustrating. So having this card fixed is a big, big deal. Fixed a loop caused between an interaction with Uro, Kroxa, and Luminous Broodmoth. I think it's Kroxa, not Kroza, right? I think it's Kroxa, Kroxa. I don't know. But basically, yeah, this is not just going to make an infinite number of these guys. Thank goodness. All right, fixed an issue where Drowned Secrets was not triggering itself when it was reinforced. So it's a minor thing, but that's still pretty good. Fixed an issue with Gideon's Defeat. This is a support. 9 mana, it's a white support, it's a legacy support that exiles a creature when it attacks and you gain 5 life. It was exiling the opponent's creature, however, the player's creature was still taking damage. So now, by still taking damage, I'm going to say that it was still doing damage, right? So it was exiling the creature, but that creature was still doing the damage. Settle the Wreckage is having the exact same problem, so I'm hoping that when it says that Gideon's Defeat is going to make it where that's now fixed, where you're not taking the damage, I'm going to go ahead and hope that the Settle the Wreckage is going to make the same thing happen. They fixed a loop caused by the interaction between Karavek, Malefic Scythe, and Alayla. I mentioned that one a little bit earlier. They just changed the Scythe a little bit. They fixed a trigger with Stasis Snare, Gideon's Defeat, and Settle the Wreckage, which, once again, I just mentioned Settle the Wreckage. They said that they fixed that thing with Gideon's Defeat. I hope that they've fixed that with Settle the Wreckage also. Fixed a soft lock. When destroying strength from the Fallen support gem with gem conversion, that's really nice. I remember finding that when I was testing the Eidolon bundle, so that's fixed is definitely nice to have. Fixed an issue with Role Reversal. I'm going to be honest, I've never played that event. I do not like playing with my opponent's cards. Fixed an issue with the animation order of Settle the Wreckage, so the opposing creature should attack before being exiled. Okay, cool. Maybe that will make it, that's part of what was making it so it wasn't working right. And then fixed an issue with the sacrifice objective, not counting creatures destroyed or exiled by the opponent, which is definitely important. So if you have to like lose creatures, then you're going to want to make sure that if your opponent's destroying your creatures, that's going to count. So you'll see that Protector was also changed to match sacrifices, and it's going to affect a heck of a lot of nodes and a heck of a lot of events. So that's a good thing. We get 2 new events, right? I know that they said 6, but let's just face it, there's really 2, right? One of them is Zendikar Expedition. This is effectively going to be replacing, this is guesswork, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, this is going to be replacing Rising Tensions. So there are 5 different themes on 5 different days. They are PvP progression. They cost 20 mana crystals to go in. All Planeswalkers colors are allowed if they're matching the node color. Each node there's going to be a node for each color, so a green one, a white one, a blue one, a red one, a black one. The nodes are unlocked based on your wins, and you get rewards based on progression. I'm calling this one event because, even though there's different objectives for all of them, and if you would like to read all of the objectives, because there are so many objectives, I will let you do that on your own time. But there's going to be a special support for each of them. Emeria is going to have the white one. Shatterskull is going to be the red one, Turntimber is going to be the green one, Agadim is going to be the black one, and Halimar is going to be the blue one, right? So the permanent support is going to do different things where it's going to permanently increase your mana bonus whenever you match the gem, and then it's also going to have an extra little bonus, which is kind of cool. The rewards for it, and this is the part that I think that most of you guys are most keen on knowing, are actually going to be a bit of a hit from what we are used to from Rising Tensions. So we're going to get a heck of a lot of mana runes. Like, look at this, 3,500, 3,000, 2,500, 2,000, 1,000, right? So that's 3, 6, 9, 12,000 mana runes for playing this 5 days a week. That means that you're earning 60,000 mana runes just from playing this, not including the runes that you would earn for winning your matches. That's a heck of a lot of mana runes. Then you get a Zendikar booster pack, which is definitely really nice that it's an updated booster pack to be the current immediate standard set. That's going to be really nice. And then you're going to get your 40 mana crystals back, right? Because you're going to earn 20 and 20 for progression. So you're going to pay 20 to enter the event. You're going to get 40 back, which means you're getting a net gain of plus 20, which is nice. But instead of gaining 20 mana jewels, which we currently get, you're going to get 15. So you're getting 5 less mana jewels for this. However, ideally, this is going to be running every day, right? So currently Rising Tensions is running 3 days a week. And so with it running 3 days a week, we're getting 60 mana jewels. Whereas with this running potentially 5 days a week, we're going to be getting 75 mana jewels a week, which is an actual gain of 15 mana jewels. So we'll have to see how they run this event. But I'm definitely really hoping that it means that we're going to be seeing extra mana jewels every week. We're going to be getting extra booster packs every week, which is super sweet. And so you might be thinking, wait a minute, Nalthazar, you said that you're getting less rewards, but you're getting more. You're getting 2 more booster packs, you're getting 15 more mana jewels. But this is where the change is right here. You get 1 Zendikar rare card. So you're getting that rare card instead of getting a mythic, right? So currently you get a mythic. That Zendikar rare card is going to be one of a few different things, right? It's either going to be a set rare, and if it is, I think it's going to be the Manlands. And if it's just you get a random rare from the set, I mean, that's going to be super sweet. I really like that, but it's just not going to be a mythic, right? So let's say that you play this every day of the week. You've got all the rares. That means that you're going to be getting up to 500 orbs, so booster crafting orbs a week for playing this event, instead of getting the current 1,500. So for free-to-play players, that's going to be a little bit harder, but they're compensating for that by you getting more mana jewels and getting more boosters. On the whole, I actually think that if this is an event that's going to be running every day of the week, because there's 5 different versions, that this is a perfect replacement for Rising Tensions. And no, I'm not saying that because I'm a VIP or because of anything else. I'm saying that because you're getting more boosters and you're getting more jewels, which means that, I mean, even though it's not quite the same, it's still pretty reasonable. You're going to be getting more mana crystals too. So you're going to be getting so much more in like so many areas that I think this is a really good event, right? So I'm actually really excited to see the Zendikar expeditions. I was really wondering how they were going to go about doing this. So we'll just have to see how often this event comes up. I'm really, really hoping this is going to be a daily event, right? So 5 different themes, 5 different days. So hopefully this is going to be every week and just every weekday. So super cool event. They definitely needed to have a new daily event, and this is a big win to me. I like that. So the next one is Rise of Adventure. This is going to be the new Coalition event introduced in Zendikar Rising. It's going to be a Coalition event. It's going to be a PvP event. And then there's no entrance fee. It's normal. It's going to be standard, the new standard. There are 2 nodes, kind of like with Titanamaki and Hunter Bonder. And for the 2 nodes, right, there's going to be a party node, and then there's going to be a land forming node. I think that's what it's called, right? Land forming. So you're going to be, right, you have to have a full party for the top one. And then you have to activate a Planeswalker ability 3 times. And then for the bottom one, you need to summon 3 or more lands and convert a whole bunch of gems. So the bottom one is going to be so easy with Nissa Worldwaker and something like Avatar of Growth. And then the top one, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful because you're going to have to activate an ability 3 times, and you're going to have a party. So hopefully these nodes are locked so that you're only playing top node, and bottom node. Because this bottom node is going to be some gem conversion madness at the platinum level. Now, the part that you guys are probably wondering is, so what are the rewards going to be? Is this going to be just like the other things that we've had recently in the same sort of reward structure? So for progression, you're going to get 5 mana jewels. You're going to get 40 mana crystals. You're going to get some booster packs. You're going to get mana runes. Yep. Individual rewards. If you get first place, you're going to get 5 mana jewels, 5,000 mana runes, and 3 booster packs. So, all right, let's move on to Coalition rewards. Coalition rewards. If you are the number 1 ranked Coalition, you get 3 boosters, or 2, right? If you're in 3 to 10, you get 2. 11 to 25, you get 1, all the way down to 250. Then you're going to get some corresponding number of mana jewels over here too, based on your rank. You're going to get mana crystals based on your rank. You're going to get mana runes based on your rank. So basically, it's the same reward structure that we have for the whole like Hunter Bonder and Titanamaki, which is yeah, a little bit on the unfortunate side, because this event looks really cool. I'm going to play it anyways. I play the Hunter Bonder event like every time it comes out. I play Titanamaki every time it comes out. I really enjoy the objectives, and it gives me a fun, set of matches to play over the weekend, and I really like that. But I feel like there's got to be something else that comes into the game that makes Coalition play more worthwhile. I know I said it in the last video that I made when M21 came out, and I feel like I've said it like every single set since War of the Spark. But just with these being the rewards that you're getting for Coalition play versus the rewards that we're getting for individual play, it's like the game is pushing us away from Coalition play. And I feel like one of the strongest ties that's keeping people playing the game is their Coalition mates. So having other people to play with is a huge reason why people keep playing. And so to take away their reason to really play the events that they would play with their Coalition and make it more that they should just play all by themselves is like sort of counterintuitive. I might be wrong about this. You can tell me in the comments if you think I'm wrong about this. But I'd really either love to see that this is happening because they're implementing seasons, and so there's going to be like a whole bunch of bonus rewards that we're going to be getting as a result of seasons existing, and so they don't want to just completely inundate us with rewards because of how much we're getting from the daily events, which is very significant, by the way. Like, the rewards that we're getting from daily events now is very significant. We get a heck of a lot of rewards from them. But it's just the Coalition events have been axed so much that hopefully we see a little bit more coming from there. So I know this has been a super long video. There's been a lot to cover in this. Let me know what you guys think of the new events. Let me know what you think of Rise of Adventure, this new Coalition event. What do you think of the rewards and them staying how they are? What do you think of Zendikar Expedition being the replacement for Rising Tensions? How do you feel about how that particular event looks? What do you think of the new Planeswalkers? Which one are you most excited for? I'm personally most excited for, I don't know. I'm equally excited for all of them, I think. But let's go ahead and say Jace. I'm really excited to try Jace. Jace is the one that I'm most interested in trying. I don't know that he's going to be the most powerful, but I'm just interested to see how the abilities work, because I already know how I'm going to play Nissa. I already know how I'm going to play Nahiri, but I don't know how I'm going to play Jace. So I'm interested in that one. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.